Okay, so here we have our color blending or fading assignment. Now again, if you lost this worksheet, there is one linked in Canvas, so you can click that link and print it, or you can also just draw this worksheet on a regular piece of printer paper to practice it. So what we're doing here is we're practicing a nice general blend from different colors. So you'll notice this says red to blue, blue to yellow, pink to yellow, green to red. There's a reason why the color mixing worksheet came first, is because you have some colors that are not on your palette already. You're going to have to mix them. Now what we're practicing here is for your stained glass project, which is the first watercolor project you'll be doing. Within each space, you're going to want to do some color blending. So that's why we have this worksheet, to get you used to that before you do it in a project form. So what you need to do first is get your two colors ready. So I'm going to make sure my red is activated, meaning there's some water on it, and my blue is activated. Now the reason why your colors need to be ready first is because you need to do this while your paints are still wet. There are some tricks that you can do as well. So what I'm going to do first is, just with plain water, I'm going to paint over this rectangle. So not a ton of water, but just enough that it's got a little bit, it's a little bit damp there. Okay. Then I'm going to take my red, it's already activated, so it should be pretty strong. And I'm going to start painting that on this side, and you can see it's already kind of bleeding to the opposite area there. And then I'm going to switch to the blue. I made sure to clean my brush first because I do want pure blue, I don't want purple. And do the same thing. Now with the blue, I'm going to start to meet in the middle and kind of drag my brush across both, so that you can see in the middle we get the purple going on there. So you want that fade red to blue. Now I'm going to show you one where the color has been mixed, so green to red here. And it's not going to make something very pretty in the middle because green and red are complementary colors, but it still will be a cool blend. So what we want to do in this case is get the green ready, and it should be very strong. So you want a really solid color ready to go there. Okay. A little more blue. So I got my green ready, and then my red has already been activated. So I'm going to do the same thing, very lightly paint plain water over the whole square or whole section. Now we do run into some issues because we're using thin paper. It's going to wrinkle a little bit, so these aren't going to be perfect blends, but they're good enough to practice for your project. So just like I did with the red and blue, I'm going to paint this to about halfway and then stop. Clean my brush, grab some red, start on the other side, and then when I get to halfway here, I'm going to start blending them together. Now a trick you can do too is, if you find that they're not blending well, is clean your brush and then go over it again to get them to blend. Okay, so I'm going to keep going on the rest of this worksheet so you kind of see how it goes. Okay, so a couple of words of advice for this before you get started. So first of all, the bottom one, you're going to choose the two colors that you want to blend. But as for this, so there were some where I did not pre-paint it with plain water first, and I don't think those blends worked as well. So make sure you always pre-paint it in water. Number two, make sure that you start with the darker color. I think everything turned out better when I started with the darker color. When they're kind of tied, like purple and orange are kind of the same, doesn't really matter, but like with the black and white, I should have started with black first and then done white on top of that. So just some things for you to try when you experiment. That's the whole point of this worksheet, is to get you ready for the project, so you don't have to be perfect at it yet. But start to practice, some techniques that'll work for you. So that is the color blending worksheet. So once you're done, make sure you take a picture and upload it to the Canvas assignment. And then start on the next watercolor practice, which is color matching.